And hello to you.
Curious what the purpose of walk-ins are on the planet right now.
The purpose of walk-ins. Please, for clarity, for everybody present, share with us your current understanding of what a walk-in is, please.
My current understanding of what a walk-in is there's a few different versions of what a walk-in experience has been categorized as. Over the centuries, there's been many walk-in occurrences. There are three versions that I'm familiar with. One is where someone has an experience where a spirit enters into their body and the old spirit leaves. This is normally in a near-death experience, sometimes in heavy trauma situations, sometimes at birth as well.
Okay.
And the other versions that I'm familiar with is a walk with, where a spirit comes in and the old spirit does not leave, and they walk together.
Okay.
Maybe for a time where the old spirit is comfortable to transition out, or they share the same body together. Or the third version that I'm familiar with is more of a soul upgrade, where a fragmented aspect of the oversoul is merged with the being in their current soul expression of the oversoul. It's more of a soul upgrade.
So it's like the walk with, but on a higher level.
Just as you were sharing earlier that you are in resonant awareness that Arjun is a higher self aspect of yourself.
That I am a
self.
higher aspect of the channel before you, yes.
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing your understanding of this idea. It helps us clarify the answer so much better, because had you not given us these specifics, we could not have told you what we're about to tell you right now, that all of these three versions, as you have just described them, are all happening constantly, simultaneously for everybody. The difference, though, is the degree to which you perceive there to be a difference. You understand? So in case of, let's use your number one. In case of what you understand to be a near-death experience. You understand that there is an infinite amount of possibilities, yes?
Yes.
That everything is unfolding in one way, shape or form within all that is, yes? So that a person that goes into an accident, say a car crash, a version of them does die, and a multiple versions of them, to be correct, does die, and a multiple continues to live, yes? You follow so far?
Yes.
Within the multiple, a range of versions of them that continues to live, that chooses on a higher self level to continue this exploration as that particular persona form, often will bring in very rapidly the lesson needed through that particular permission slip of the idea of a car crash that they have been often yearning for already very long. So the momentum for a particular persona self, or fragment in that sense, incarnation, to explore in a different way was already going for quite a while. Do you understand so far?
Yes.
The car crash creates, you could say, an opportunity for the incarnated self to find a legit excuse to have all of that information suddenly downloaded into the new persona self. Whereas other people will usually, most often, gradually learn such lessons. It's just a bigger leap. That's all it is. Now, when you're speaking about other souls or other entities, we understand that mergings do take place that can result in what you now understand to be a walk-in. But there is always, you could say, a fundament of the quote-unquote earlier root still connected to it. Do you understand this? Mm-hmm. Otherwise, in your world, it would literally make no sense. They would change shape, physical shape. Now, this can happen to a certain degree. People can change to such a degree that they actually change shape somewhat. And others around them may notice that. Perhaps eye coloration or skin or jaw structure, things have changed. They see more of another person even than they already do because of the change in character. But there is, you could say, a co-created consensus belief system that holds it a little bit more together, so that they don't just change into, say, another species. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're talking about a walk with, in that sense, as you brought up as a second example, it's more of a subtle agreement where a guiding fragment or parallel incarnation begins to co-create with the original being suddenly much closer. can also be experienced as if the person has entirely changed and therefore can be labeled as a walk-in. But because of your choice, your co-created reality to linearly explore this life in this manner, there is still a logic, you could say, to what happened, quote unquote, as you create the past from the here and now, before the walk with occurred, and what happens after that. There's still logic. Just as if you would know a person who had had a near-death experience, and you would truly, truly, truly zoom out very, very high, you would see the logic at some point of that particular persona self creating for themselves this thorough a wake-up call to then from then on alter their path in that direction. You understand? It's all held as potential by the soul self, by the oversoul on an even higher level. And all of these possibilities are constantly being fine-tuned to paths that you are choosing to weave in your own fabric, creation of life, in every given here and now. Some of you do pull in, you could say, a higher probability range of giving yourselves a bigger wake-up call, whereas some others do not, because they have agreed that for them learning goes best in a more subtle way. You see? Now, does that help you understand the general idea of what a walk-in is and or can be?
Helps me understand the general.
Okay. Is there a more specific element of this that you would like to dive deeper into? Because you asked about the function of this idea in this here and now. The function is just as simple as we said in the beginning. All that is wishes to explore all that is. So your world and every single version of it as you choose to focus yourself on in every single here and now may, quote unquote, need a little bit more coloration from that particular star system. Or need somebody to not walk their path seemingly like this, but to take a sudden turn to the left. It's something that is asked for by the whole. It is something that you're co-creating. Because somebody that has a near-death experience, depending on how it unfolds, or somebody who has a dramatic death, as you would label it, that goes out with a bang, let's say, they become teachers on a higher level because this touches other people. You have a co-agreement in most occasions right now that such a particular transition shakes not just that person, but their entire environment. So walk-ins in that sense are wake-up calls in flesh. And that is one of the major, you could say, reasons for these kind of plot twists happening more, you could say, frequent on the version of Earth that we understand you are focused in right now. Does that help?
Yes.
Is that a complete answer to your question, or is there anything left unsaid?
I think that's good for now.
Okay, we thank you so very, very much. Happy walking.
Thank you.